Hey everyone, Ben from Living Survival and Miss Living Survival. Today we're going to show you two cool new stoves from BioLite. Their cook stove and their camp stove. Stick with us. So what we're going to be looking at today is the BioLite camp stove and the BioLite cook stove. Very similar stoves. The camp stove is able to charge devices, which is pretty cool. It can charge USB devices with its thermal regulator here. Setup on both stoves is very simple. They come with a nice stuff sack. You just pop the fan module and stick the thermal regulator in like that, and then it just clips into the bottom and these feet extend out. So just like that, you're set up with that stove. The cook stove is their brand new stove. It doesn't charge devices. It does come with a fan, which is also a USB battery bank, and that's what's going to power your fan. Same way as far as setup goes, you just stick the module in there, flip out your feet, and you're good to go.
I like that. Done.
Smaller, make them smaller. About half that maybe, or quarter those. BK2 for the win. Kristen's going to use the new cook stove and I'm going to use the camp stove. We got some oak chunks here, some pine chunks, and some kindling. So first what we're going to do is we're just going to add some kindling down into the chamber here. And then we're going to use the included fire starter that they give you, which won't last very long. It's like compressed cardboard. That's good. And we're just going to light that, set that in there, and then we'll get some other wood going. And then we're going to see who can boil their water the fastest. What's your other one in there? Are you ready? Set, go. Make sure they're still both burning here. Yours is. I think you purposely put mine out.
No, I didn't.
Yours is going good.
No, yours is in there. I can see it.
All right, so let's kick on these fans now. On the cook stove, just hit the button there and we'll turn it on low. Same thing with the camp stove. Right off the bat, you can tell that the camp stove is a lot louder than the cook stove. So I know that was a complaint on this one, is that it has a louder fan, and it definitely does on low. Now this one has 2 speeds, low and high, whereas the cook stove has 4 speeds here. So as you get your fire going, you can turn that up. Now you can already see what a difference having a fan makes, and that's really the benefit of these. You might ask, why use those over just a traditional wood stove when you're burning wood? And I myself use a lot of wood stoves, but these can boil just as fast, if not faster, than a gas canister stove. You can see with the fan there, it just makes them go like crazy, and this is on the low setting. With the camp stove, you get the equivalent of about 20 canisters of gas, and you can see they both burn just as hot. Even on low, it's pretty impressive the output you get on these things just with the addition of the fan. Alright, so one thing we noticed right off the bat is with these particular pots, they cover the chamber. So you cannot use it. It just simply makes it not work. I've got mine tilted there, which is not ideal. Now I know you can get a pot stand for these, and that may be what we would have to get. So you're going to have to use like a wider bottom cup in order to make them work. Alright, so mine is just about there, and it took 6 minutes. Again, not ideal because I had to tilt it. So I'm going to say that you just can't use these type of pots. You'd have to use something larger. Or get some sort of a plate that they make to raise that up even higher. Still, it looks like I won though.
I did. You did.
So a few little stats about these stoves. The cook stove on the right there does 30 hours on a charge, so that's equivalent to 20 gas canisters. And I can tell you that they work extremely efficiently and very fast. 4 to 5 minutes boiling, 2 cups of water is pretty fast. The cook stove on the right there weighs 1.6 pounds. The camp stove is a little bit heavier because it's got the thermo regulator in there, or the thermoelectric generator, 2.06 pounds. It does pump out 2 to 4 watts at 5 volts, so that's awesome. I'm going to hook my cell phone up to it in a second here. So when you put the cook stove on turbo, you get 8 hours boil, you get 16 simmer, you get 25, and then just using it as a campfire on low, like I'm using this one, you get up to 30 hours on a charge. This one, of course, charges itself with the thermo generator, so you don't have to worry about recharging there, but it is a little bit bigger, a little bit heavier. So you can also separately purchase this grill top, which is very cool. It just has extendable legs here, and it just pops right into the top of the stove, and then you have this little flap that opens and closes so that you can add more wood. So we're going to cook some food on that. While we're cooking food on that, I'm going to hook my cell phone up to this one and see how much of a charge I get in the time that it takes us to cook the food. So now comes the awesome part of the stove. I have my phone hooked up to the USB. It is nice and cool. It stays nice and cool back here, so you don't have to worry about that. My phone is at 5% right now, so we're going to see how much I can boost it in the time that it takes to cook our meal. Another thing that's pretty awesome about these stoves is once they're going, you get literally no smoke. So that's really cool as well. I'm going to keep this one going pretty hot. Charge my phone. You can see it's already at 6%. And we'll get some food cooking on the other one. This little guy is super efficient. I only have it on medium fan there, and you can see it's just cooking. And when you put that cover down, it directs the flame into your grill plate, which is very cool. Might be able to even kick it down even lower. You can see that fire is just roasting under there. This one's cooking as well. Charging my phone. So we've got some stuffed pork chops on here, and it's working fairly well. I mean, it's obviously working. Do have some burn spots there. The cooking surface is really uneven, even with the heat exchanger there. Basically how it works is the heat exchanger, when you close this lid here for your fire, it directs the flame across this heat exchanger and should be evenly heating the grill, but it's not, and it's not even a windy day. It's definitely pretty variable with your heat there. Now we haven't gone above medium just because it gets too hot if you do, so it's definitely capable of producing the heat. You can see this one's just rip-roaring charging my phone. Definitely capable of producing the heat, it's just an uneven heat. So we got the pork chops off and doing some gravy, heating some gravy up on there now. So let's check on our charge here. It's up to 12%, so it's definitely charging. It's charged, what it was at, 6, so 6%. And you guys can check the timestamp there. Not bad. Definitely capable of providing an emergency charge, which is very cool. We've used very little wood, and we've been cooking on 2 stoves. Cornbread stuffed pork chops with some biscuits and gravy. Didn't turn out half bad. Now you can buy this as a bundle where you get a USB light, which is pretty cool for cooking in the dark, and of course the stove powers that. You can also get the grill top, which we use today. That will work with either stove. And then they also make this large kettle. It's got heat-resistant handles, heat-resistant top, BPA-free top, and it's a stainless steel canister that fits right on the top. Now you see that they've put holes in it there because obviously, as we found out with our pots, if you cover the top, the stove no longer functions. So they've put little ports there to eject the heat out. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this up, and we'll see how long it takes to boil water in the kettle. Very nice kettle that you can get on its own or in the combo. You can see it's got graduations marks on the inside. Very heavy duty stainless steel. So we're gonna boil up a full liter of water and see how long that takes on the original here. You can see that I dumped my fire out. I'm gonna go ahead and just light some of their fire starter. Let me get some kindling down in here first. Should be plenty to get us going here. Throw one chunk of wood down in there, and then we'll go ahead and get it going with the included fire starter. That burning. Stick that down in there. And we'll go ahead and kick on the fan. Not hard at all to get these stoves going. And we will see how long it takes to boil. It is 5:30. Definitely gets plenty hot down there. I don't think we're boiling, although there is bubbles in there. It's been 7 minutes. So definitely taking a little bit longer than the 4.5 that they claim, although we are close. Just past the 11-minute mark, and it looks like we are almost boiling there. So actually not too bad for a full liter of water. So what do I think about the BioLite camp stove and cook stove? Well, my tip of the hat goes to the original, the camp stove. I think it's fantastic that you can give yourself an emergency charge. I'm gonna do another video in the future where I'm gonna do it side by side with my 20 watt or 21 watt solar panel, and we'll see which one gives a better charge, but it's definitely capable with very little wood to keep your phone topped off and give you that emergency boost that you might need in a survival situation. It works great as a camp stove. It's ultra efficient. I think the only downfall would be the size of it. It's not going to be for your hiker or backpacker. I suppose you could take it hiking with you, but definitely great for camping. The new cook stove is cool as well. It provides a very long burn time on just one charge, and then you can USB recharge it at home, for example, and keep it packed in the car, and that way you have it charged up for when you're going to need it. Again, I like the original because you don't need a battery to power the fan. It powers itself with the heat of the wood, which is very cool. Both are very, very efficient. Both work very well. The only negatives that we found was our pots that we brought out today were a little bit too small, so I'm gonna have to look into some pot stands or just use larger pots. You could certainly use a fry pan or a larger pot and they would work well. They get very, very hot. We didn't even go above the low setting other than to charge my phone, and we didn't go, the new stove has 4 different levels. We didn't go above the medium level to cook our food. As far as the bundle goes, you get a USB lamp, you get a kettle, which is pretty cool, and then you get the stove as well. As far as the stove, I probably wouldn't recommend it. I don't think it works that well. It does work, but it doesn't cook very uniformly. It is harder to heat your food evenly. I'm sure with some practice you could get better at it, but it's a big bulky thing and it's a lot to carry in addition to just the regular stove. They do come with a nice carry case. You can stow the fan part inside the stove, which is cool, and then throw it in the carry case, so it does actually have a fairly small footprint. Overall, I think it's awesome that you can charge your device just using heat, and the original is definitely something that I'm going to keep in my vehicle for an emergency situation. It's also cool. We've been sitting here just warming our hands. It works great as just a campfire. Now, the original fan is much louder than the new fan. They've changed it. The new fan, even on high, is pretty silent. You really don't hear it, whereas you do hear the original. Now, for both of us, we sleep with a fan at night, and it really doesn't bother us. It's actually fairly soothing just to hear it going and hear it working. And once that fire gets roaring, you sort of don't hear the fan anymore, but the older one is definitely a lot louder than the newer. So guys, I'm going to leave some links below to BioLite's website where you guys can check out the latest products that they have, including their 2 camp stoves, the camp stove and the new cook stove, as well as current pricing. I'm also going to leave some links below to Amazon where you guys can pick one up for yourself. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. Please give it a big thumbs up for me. Leave me some comments below. Make sure you share it to your friends and family who might be interested in something like this on your social media. Of course, you can follow me on my social media just by clicking show more in the description. Remember, as always, there's that big red subscribe button below all of my videos. Make sure if you haven't already done so, you click it and subscribe for more videos.